Today, I want to explore a truly bizarre phenomenon with you. 18th century British aristocracy. Impossibly lavish gowns. Rigid class hierarchy. Bridgerton. On the surface, this show is perfectly Western. And yet, it exploded globally. Especially in Korea, Japan, China, India, and the Middle East. Countries that are culturally opposite to Britain had the most passionate responses. Why? Many people say, romance is universal. The spectacle is amazing. It's the diverse casting. They're all wrong. Or more precisely, those are surface-level answers. The real reason runs much deeper. And once you understand it, you'll know exactly why Netflix pours hundreds of millions into certain content, why some shows cross borders while others fail even domestically. Today, I'm going to show you a formula. Why Bridgerton succeeded, and why it doesn't feel foreign to Korean audiences. Once you understand this formula, every piece of global content you watch will look completely different. And at the end of this video, we're going to ask one question. Is Bridgerton really a British story? Or is it a global story told through a British lens? To properly answer that question, you need to stay until the end. If you leave halfway, it's just, oh, they're similar. If you stay until the end, you'll see the pattern. Let's begin. This familiar feeling is not a coincidence. It's not because Bridgerton is a romance. It's not because Korean audiences love melodrama. And it's certainly not because British culture and Korean culture are the same. What Korean viewers are responding to isn't the surface of the story. It's the system beneath it. At its core, Bridgerton isn't really about love. It's about reputation. In this world, personal desire matters less than public perception. A single rumor can destroy an entire family. A single mistake echoes across generations. Every choice must pass through one filter. How will this look to others? For Korean audiences, this logic feels immediately familiar. Not because the setting is the same, but because the pressure is. In Bridgerton, no one belongs only to themselves. A daughter's decision affects her siblings. A brother's scandal damages the entire family name. Marriage is never just about two people. It's about lineage, about alliances, about social survival. This is where many Korean viewers instinctively connect. In Korean storytelling, romance rarely stays personal. It expands outward, to parents, to expectations, to obligations, and to quiet sacrifices. The individual exists, but never alone. Another reason Bridgerton feels familiar is how emotion is expressed, or rather, how it's restrained. Love is not shouted. Anger is rarely displayed. Desire is carefully contained. Meaning lives in the silences. In glances held just a second too long. In what remains unsaid. Korean audiences understand this language. Korean dramas are often called slow or emotionally restrained. But within that restraint, intensity is born. Bridgerton speaks the exact same emotional dialect. Now, if you've been listening this far, you might be thinking, so what? They feel similar. Is that such a big deal? Here's what you can't miss. What I've told you so far is actually less than half the story. Bridgerton feels familiar to Korean audiences. That's just the beginning. The real question is this. Why did a show set in 18th century British aristocracy explode not just in Korea, but in Japan, China, India, the Middle East, even Latin America? Can this really be explained by romance is universal? Absolutely not. There's a far more sophisticated mechanism at work. And once you understand this mechanism, you'll know exactly why Netflix invests hundreds of millions in certain content, Why some shows cross borders while others fail even at home. This isn't just cultural analysis. This is the hidden formula of the content industry. And I'm about to reveal it. If you stop watching now, you'll miss the most important part. Just invest 5 more minutes. I promise. All right, let's get into it. The first key insight is this. Romance isn't actually romance. In Bridgerton, romance is not just romance. It's negotiation. It's strategy. It's survival. Marriage isn't only about passion. It's about legitimacy, protection, status. This doesn't feel outdated to Korean viewers, because even today, love often exists alongside practical realities. Family approval, financial stability, social compatibility. Bridgerton doesn't romanticize freedom. IT romanticizes navigation. And this is exactly why viewers around the world watch Bridgerton and see their own story. Because negotiating between love and duty is a universal human experience. This is why Bridgerton doesn't feel like a distant Western fantasy to Korean audiences. It feels like a story told with a different accent. The clothes are different. The language is different. The time period is different. But the emotional logic is familiar. A world where happiness must negotiate with society, where love exists under pressure, where family, reputation, and restraint shape every decision. This isn't cultural imitation. This is structural isomorphism. When two completely different societies share similar systems of social pressure, their emotional languages become remarkably similar. And this formula is the hidden secret of global hit content. Different on the surface, universal in structure. Netflix doesn't invest in fancy costumes. They invest in emotional architecture. So when Korean viewers watch Bridgerton, they're not simply watching a British romance. They're recognizing a system they already understand, reframed through silk gowns and candlelit ballrooms. Bridgerton feels familiar not because it mirrors Korean culture, but because it speaks the same emotional grammar. A story from far away that somehow understands exactly how restraint feels. So here's a question worth considering. Is Bridgerton really a Western fantasy? Or is it a global story told through a British lens? What do you think? When you watched Bridgerton, did you feel that same familiarity? Or did it feel completely foreign? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in the next video, drop your requests in the comments, and I'll consider them for future videos. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe